Hello and welcome to Fault Guide because I got questions from a couple people and I think that making a video in the long run is probably easier, so I can just like, oh, you want to learn how to fault? Here is a video, and if you have any questions, ask me after, because it's very hard to explain in person, especially if you don't have a hand cam or something like that set up. So I thought I would do it here and now and make a video, and then hopefully that covers most of it. Quick disclaimer, I will mostly be talking about WASD users. I have no arrow key experience. For arrow key users, I would ask around in the movement chat, and I would advise use a secondary downbind. That's all I'm gonna say. For now, I will hop in a quick bingo game because I don't know how to play monk in normal watcher, so we're just gonna go in here and try to explain this. So vaults, yes. More. Oh. Ignore that. You couldn't even see my hand cam's in front of it. See, no one is. No, yeah. Vaults. Let's just go to a different region because I'm gonna die here. This is not a safe room. Can I? You know what? Safe enough. Alright. So yeah. With Watcher Bingo coming up and Watcher being more vertical than ever, I think movement tech is going to be a lot more important, and I think a lot of the Watcher Bingo players have kind of noticed that as well. So I'm safe up here. And the only real movement tech that gains a lot of vertical height that is like relatively learnable is faults. And I think that faults are a lot less hard than people think, especially if you do a couple things right. Which the first one of those is get SOCD. Please do. I want SOCD for between A and D, for between A and D, and between W and S, between up and down and left and right, basically. Both of them. They make faults so much easier. And the reason for that is because, okay, first of all, what does SOCD do? It's like if you hold one direction and you press the other instead of standing still, canceling each other out, both being held at the same time, it just prioritizes the latest key. So I will be holding D here and I will press A, and you're gonna see. Me tapping A makes us like I go left and right. Now the reason this is very important is because vaulting normally has a lot of very hard release timing. So when you have to unpress the buttons to not have neutral inputs, because vaulting doesn't have any neutral inputs basically. But now those release timings are gone. As long as you hold the keys until after you press the next set of inputs, generally speaking, you are okay, because, well, they cancel each other out, so the inputs will be unpressed at the perfect time anyway. So I think that's very important. Getting SOCD is very easy. You just generate. I think there's a link in our movement chat. I think the first pin by Yada Hitboxer is an SOCD program. It will open a menu, just click WASD opposites at the bottom right of the menu, and it's all set up. Maybe you have to restart your game, but generally speaking, the easiest way to just test is this if you have, oh, there goes my hand. If you have input display, just hold one, press the other, and see if it cancels out, and same with up and down. So yeah, first off that. Second off, what are vaults? So vaults are a set of, I would say a set of three different. Vaults basically consists of three sets of inputs. So first you have the easiest one, and the most basic one is just a jump storage. Preferably for what I'm trying to do, or the method I use, down and right. So, or down, facing right, down and jump. So G is my jump bind, so this one, and S is my down bind. So I just press those two at the same time, bang, you're done. Alright. The timing on this is loose, and this can be done. You can do this, go have lunch, come back, and then do the rest of the inputs. This one doesn't actually have any time related to it or anything. The next two ones do though. So the next input is a crawl turn. So what is a crawl turn? Well, you see here I have the S and then the A and W. These are my back and up bind. A crawl turn is basically back, and then right after pressing back, you want to press up. And the slughead should, in theory, do a little hop like this. See how he gets a little bit of height, and especially if you do it with a jump storage. Oh, there we go. That's very important. And now, generally speaking, just hold these. Like, you don't have to release these because the next set of inputs will cancel each other out. Now, if I hold them, the socket will like leap to the left and it's gonna look all weird, but you get what I mean. Generally speaking, you can just hold these because the next set of inputs consists of a jump, a right, and a down. Basically, just slide inputs in the opposite direction. You probably know what a slide is. So, and what that means is this S input is going to naturally deactivate this W input from the previous set of inputs, and the D input is going to deactivate the A input. So you don't actually have to. The only timing you have is the pressing these, the time between pressing these and pressing these, and making sure that back is activated before up. Because if you press them at the same time, it doesn't work. See, like if up is not right, then he doesn't actually get a hop. He just stands up. So the next inputs are these slide inputs. Now, so if you put that all together, you have this one, and then you can wait a bit, and then bang, high jump. Now the way I do this, as you might have seen on the hand cam, I'm not 100% sure if it was very visible, but I move my hands a bit. So the hardest part about vaults is switching from that W input to that S input, because there's basically has to be no delay between these. And like gliding between these or doing it with the same finger, which you normally do with your middle finger, normally controls both W and S, at least for me, it's very hard. So generally speaking, you don't want to do that. Now, a way to go about this is to just have a secondary downbind somewhere on the keyboard, on your pinky here on the J, and then you can do these inputs and then these, and then you only have to press the D here, and the downbind can be a different finger. That's not how I do it though. I do it in a different way. What I do, can you see me? You can't see me. I'm kind of away though. Maybe I should stand here. The way I go about it is first the jump storage I do with these two fingers. So I have my index finger right here and my ring finger right here. I don't use my middle finger for these yet because the middle finger will go on the D bind in a little bit. And these two fingers you can see here, I'll move my middle finger out of the way, go on the G and the S. So I can do with these, I can very easily do these. So the down to jump storage. Then my left hand, which is normally on the WASD, well, these two fingers, so my middle finger and my ring finger, go on the A and the W, which can do a crawl turn very easily like this. Now this hand, I do move a little bit out of the way because my other hand has to fit basically under the other hand. And then the way I go about this is I have this jump storage with this hand like that. Then I have to back it up with this hand. And then the slide inputs with the other hand like that. Which you can see here. So I have this one on the jump, the middle finger on the D, and then my index finger on the S. And so this way I can press these two buttons at the same time very easily. And the reason this works very well, at least in my opinion, is because instead of being a complicated mix of left and right hand inputs that have to somehow come together to do a vault, it's now literally just right, left, right. It's literally right, left, right. And the only thing you have to make sure about, the only timings that still exist is making sure the up input is after the left input, and that you press this one at the right time. So like this one has to come exactly 5 ticks after you first start this input. Now, if you do it too late, see, the vault doesn't go as high. Or if you do it too quick, your vault doesn't go as high. But if you time it properly, you get full height. So even if you time it a bit wrong, most of the time you'll still be okay. Not every jump that requires a vault requires a max height vault. So yeah, generally speaking, that's my way of doing it. Not everyone's going to have their jump on G, that's no problem. I know a lot of people have, for example, on spacebar. Now, the way you can do this with spacebar is very easy. Instead of using this finger on the jump bind, you can just choose your thumb on the spacebar like this. You do the jump storage like this, bang, and it will show the bingo game because I don't have. And then you can just do the backup inputs the same way, and then just press these three at the same time. Or if your jump input is K, you can do it with your pinky if you want. If your jump input is very far away, like you play with your hand on the arrow keys, or you play your hand on this side of the keyboard, which I do, I know a lot of people do. I would recommend putting a secondary jump bind somewhere here. You can probably get a keyboard if your keyboard has software where you can easily remap things. That's a very easy way to do it. If you don't, there's probably external softwares you can use. An alternative is just, let's say you use these arrow keys here, you can just move them a little closer by if you want. That's what I did. I used to play on the arrow keys and I realized, hey, I want to do this. I figured something out that works for me for vaults, but my jump bind's very far away. So that I'll just move it a bit closer. Like, it's a bit of getting used to, but as long as you remain the same layout, for example, these three buttons, jump, throw, and grab, you can just put them here next to each other and jump, throw, and grab. And although your hands are a bit closer together, so it might be a bit getting used to, generally speaking, it's the same. So yeah, basically that's all, I think. Oh no, I wanted to show a couple spots where vaults can be useful. Although I didn't look any, or well, look any up. I didn't make a list. So I ended up making a list and recording a couple of clips of me doing vaults in the Watcher map as Monk. These aren't nearly all the spots, and a lot of the reasons why vaults are so good is because they're super versatile and you basically pull them out anywhere. For evasion or for alternate routing because of creatures. But these should give you a decent idea of where they can and should be used and how and why they are useful. So yeah, enjoy.